One of the most important mediums you and I have as a leader is to communicate through stories. I like to call them strategic stories because in many ways they're stories with a strategic end in mind. They're a powerful tool which many managers and executives forget to deploy. And my point is that if you want recall, if you want your staff to remember the genuine priorities or remember why we're going in a certain direction, they need stories to help remind them of that reason or purpose or type of decision they have to take. Let me illustrate this idea of strategic stories with a story. And this is a story that Herb Kelleher, one of the founders of Southwest Airlines in the United States and the former CEO and chairman, used to tell as he traveled around the United States visiting his operations. And it was a story that in part explained who the competitors to Southwest Airlines were, as well as a story to illustrate why Southwest priced its tickets so low, because Southwest Airlines is famous for its low-priced tickets. What he would do in meetings with people from Southwest and even with customers is he would say, it's funny, I get letters all the time from shareholders, and they're often angry letters. They say, America West is flying between Los Angeles and Las Vegas for $149 one way, and you, Herb Kelleher at Southwest, are pricing $79 for that same one-way ticket. Don't you have the decency to at least kick your price up to $129? Why are you leaving so much on the table? Well, what I do is I write back and I say, thank you so much for your letter, but you really don't understand who we are and you really don't understand who our competition is. It's the automobile. It's not other airlines. And $79 is the price to drive, including maintenance and insurance and gasoline from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. And that's how we price our tickets. He would use that simple story to drive home what in many ways could be seen as the entire strategy of the organization vis-a-vis its competition. But it was done in such a way that everyone at Southwest, all the way down to the baggage handler, knew who the competitors were and why that ticket was priced the way it was. The primary lesson learned is that stories have enormous power in terms of recall. If you look at statistics, if you look at PowerPoint, if you look at documents, what you discover from all the research is that there's almost no recall. So you can use all the PowerPoints you want, you can use all the statistical presentations you want, have all the handouts you want, but almost none of that is remembered. What will be remembered are a few compelling stories that you share with your organization, with your team, and those will guide them when they're far away from you, which, by the way, is much of the day. So how do you craft a good strategic story? Well, what we know is that stories that you and I might tell in a work context are different from the stories we might tell our family at dinner or tell our children when we're putting them to bed. The first characteristic is they're short, very short. Anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 minutes roughly is about all anybody can retain as a listener. So keep your story short. Secondly, they shouldn't have more than 2 or 3 characters at most. The more characters, again, the more difficult it is to remember the story. 3, keep it simple. Build it around a singular message you wish to convey. 4th, tell it as if it's actually happening in the present tense. We know that when you do that, it brings the listener into the story, and they actually participate in the story. Next, make certain you've got a few visual images, because we store visual images far more deeply. A picture is worth actually thousands of words. But make sure the images you share in the story tie into the theme you want everyone to remember. And finally, if you can, repeat a phrase or word that's the essence of your message.